Hello and welcome to today's episode of Let's Talk Loyalty and Loyalty TV. Today's episode is a long overdue catch-up with the Livelo loyalty program that we last spoke to back in August 2021. Livelo is the largest loyalty program in Brazil, with more than 47 million members, 400 partners, and over 1 million rewards available. Whether in the physical or digital world, Livelo offers countless possibilities to both earn and burn points, which can be exchanged for products, services, trips, experiences, and payments via the country's incredible Pix platform and even cashback. We're joined again by Daniel Pagano, Chief Marketing and Operations Officer, and he shares Livelo's latest propositions and performance, as well as some global recognition they've been awarded recently. I hope you enjoy our conversation. So, Daniel, welcome back to Let's Talk Loyalty, and for the first time on Loyalty TV.
That's a great pleasure. That's an honor to be here, especially, on TV now. It's much better to be able to, talk while seeing you.
Honestly, I feel like a bit of a rock star when I come to the studio and we get all the hair and makeup done and we've got all the pretty lights. So definitely we're taking our content to the next level, Daniel. So it is a long overdue conversation to catch up on everything you've been doing with Livelo. You certainly have not been sitting around quietly. There's a lot to talk about, which is amazing. So let's kick off with our usual opening question before we get into any of that. As you know, now we always love to ask our guests first and foremost, what is your favorite loyalty program?
Sure. So again, Paula, honored to be talking to you. And I love this question. I always love your opening questions, by the way. I like talk about Starbucks, actually. I need to talk about Starbucks. I mean, I think that they have a great loyalty program for some reasons. One of them relates to something that we have been pursuing here at Livelo, which is the efforts towards personalization. They have been doing a lot of efforts towards that to be relevant, to really be able to offer to each individual customer what's really relevant for that particular customer, and also listening to customers so that they can provide benefits and offers on the loyalty program that really resonates to what the customers value. So I think that they have been doing a great job on that. It's really a reference for us. So I will refer to Starbucks as my preferred one.
Amazing. Yeah. There's so many reasons to admire Starbucks, Daniel. You're absolutely right. And yeah, the value proposition for consumers is always way ahead. I also like their kind of spirit of innovation. I know they had the Odyssey program, actually, which I think was an NFT trial, which didn't continue for very long. But I like the fact that they do kind of put some kind of, ideas and resources and obviously invest into what might resonate with new audiences in terms of new technologies. And for me, the most cool thing that they do is in the payment space. And I know that's close to your heart as well, Daniel, in terms of what you've been doing. Yeah. So, and actually it's the answer we get most frequently when we talk to people on the show. So you're certainly not alone.
It looks like I'm really doing a good job in this sense.
Totally. Who could fault them? So listen, let's get into Livelo since we last spoke, Daniel. From what my research shows in terms of the 3 years since we spoke, your growth has been unbelievable, off the charts, as we say in Ireland. I don't want to steal any of your thunder. What can you share with our audience in terms of your scale and growth since we last spoke?
Absolutely wonderful. Yes, I mean, we have been experiencing a lot of growth, fortunately, with some activities that they have been pursuing here. So right now, Livelo has about 47 million clients in its database. We have been growing in terms of number of people redeeming, goods and services in our program. As always, people accumulate. So we're talking about engagement, right? So we're talking about as I used to say here, the wheel of accumulating and redeeming, speeding as faster as possible around the life of the client. So we, in terms of numbers, by the time we spoke, if I'm not mistaken, we were in about 250 million net profit. Last year we made 1.1 billion net profit this is Brazilian currency, but gives a perspective, on multiplying by 4 the net profit we have been able to achieve. I went from the database to the net profit, directly. But I'm going to talk about some of the KPIs in the middle of it. But have been very successful over the last years. And some of the things that we've been doing, Paula, relates to really be present, be on a daily basis on each and everything that the client does, right? For being able to think, I can get points if I, do what Livelo is telling me to do regarding one specific need or one purchase I want to do. And, I can redeem a lot of things in my daily basis as well, in my day-to-day activities with the points that I have with Livelo.
Yeah.
So, we have been doing some things in this arena to be able to be 24/7 in the mind of the client.
Amazing. Well, I'm sure everybody listening would absolutely love fourfold growth. So huge congratulations, Daniel. That really is an extraordinary number. And Brazil as a market, I was blown away when I did briefly visit last year. And sadly, we didn't get to meet in person, although we tried. But Livelo is one that everybody looks to as certainly a market leader. So I'm not surprised to hear that it's growing so exponentially. So I'd love to understand some of the new propositions that you've added in for your members. 47 million, again, a huge number. I love the breadth of the proposition, but the first one I really wanted to share with our audience is the PIX proposition, because I know this is unique. As far as I know, actually, I'm thinking it's unique to the Brazilian market. I do love the fact that the Central Bank of Brazil is a really powerful advocate of this. So would you mind, just for the sake of our global audience, just explaining what is PIX and how is Livelo working with this PIX technology to achieve such extraordinary results?
Absolutely. No, that's a great point. I'm going to give a little bit of background before going to the specifics of this offering. Livelo is a company that just in June made 8 years of existence, right? So a fairly new company. And we were born 100% digital. So everything that we would do would be in the digital space. So people would be able to accumulate points, using credit cards, on our partners, on our websites, and would be able to redeem goods and services also on the internet, right? So we said, okay, this is not enough. We need to be also in the physical world. And I remember a report back in 2018 that was really a big trend. Loyalty companies need to be ubiquitous, need to be both in the online and on the offline, both so that you can really provide value. And we were actually trying to find a way to get there, to really allow people to use in everywhere Livelo points. Now that gets back to the PIX solution. The PIX is a mean that the Brazilian government created so that people can very easily make purchases, make money transfers using a QR code, right, in the point of sale that takes money directly from the bank account of that person to that destination, be it another person's bank account or a corporate bank account. So it's actually something very similar to a credit card, but very, very seamless, very simple, and absolutely ubiquitous, in the financial infrastructure, let's put it this way, in Brazil. What it did was we actually piggybacked on PIX as a technology to be able to make our points become money in the point of sale, in each and every point of sale that would accept PIX. And I'm talking about millions and millions, because it was a structural development of the Brazilian financial system, right? We use it as a mean to allow people to, let's suppose I have 2,000 points, right? To make that 2,000 points become money to have a coffee on a bakery or in a coffee shop, to have the nails done, to buy a tire, anything. We start talking about anything. So we, from one day to another, made the Livelo solution become absolutely spread out in the physical world, but also on the online world, if you would like to use PIX in the online world as well, to translate points into anything. So we used to talk about, hundred thousands of SKUs or possibilities to redeem Livelo points. When we launched the Peak solution, absolutely, a company that would have countless of possibilities to you to redeem points. So that was actually a very important step for us. It's about points Livelo everywhere for anything, right? And we have done some other solutions on that to expand the ecosystem. But that is one that actually, and to be quite honest with you, we are still, I believe, in the beginning of the exploration, the proper exploration of the possibilities that this brings to us. We understand we have a lot of work to do to explain to people, that this can be used, and to make sure that they have what is really important for them to be able to use this possibility, which is the Livelo app. So we need to make sure that the Livelo app is in the hands of everybody so that they can use the app to be able to use the Peak solution. But, it was something that took us to another level regarding presence.
It's an absolutely astronomical story, Daniel, and thank you for explaining it in layman's terms, because I think the audience knows I'm definitely not very technical, particularly when it comes to payments infrastructure. I love the fact that I could use my Livelo points, as you said, to pay my sister if I owe her for a coffee, or like that level of liquidity and flexibility is what everybody has been looking for so many years.
Yeah, I mean, we need to be where the customer wants us to be, right? We need to make sure that we provide solutions and we direct behavior in a way that is aligned to what the customers want to do, what's good for them, right? You need to always be thinking in the shoes of the customer. This is absolutely paramount for us. So I think that's a great possibility for us to, again, surf the wave of those kind of innovations to the benefit of our customers and to our benefit.
100%, yeah. It's just unbelievable how powerful it's obviously being.
Yeah, I mean, it is. And again, I mean, there are some benefits that credit card issuers, and acquirers provide as well to merchants. And so that's the sort of balance that's going on right now. So it's kind of those competing payment means, right? So the thing is, the most important is we need to be actually, and I love what you mentioned about innovation, right? In the very beginning of our conversation, again, relating to our preferred, loyalty program. We need to be testing. We need to be testing new things that we can provide, but also we need to be very, attentive to what's going on in the market, so that we can use innovations that are being, created and developed in the market for our benefit, and again, for the benefit of the client. One example of this, and this is actually one that I like very much, and I'm going to jump to one thing, Paul, if you allow me, that made us very proud. One of the things that we have been doing here is to try to use Livelo as a way to direct behavior, not necessarily linked to a commercial transaction, right? So we know that the points you have been, seeing in other programs in the world, like Payback, for example, but just to mention one, but others, that points are used to direct people towards a certain behavior, right? So, for example, you have points, you get points if you, for example, take a certain training session, right? A learning session, something like this. How can we use this for, be more present on this possibility of usage, and how can actually make Livelo beneficial for our customers in our systems in that regard, for B2B, B2C initiatives. So we did something with Volkswagen here in Brazil. It was quite remarkable. Volkswagen found out that one of the main reasons of truck accidents or road accidents in Brazil related to truck drivers that didn't get enough sleep. And the reason they didn't get enough sleep was that they wanted to make more money. So they wanted to make more money, so they would not rest, the amount of time that was required. So what Volkswagen and us did was they created an app linked to a smartwatch that would monitor the amount of hours that the truck driver would sleep, right? In order to provide incentives for the truck driver to sleep the correct number of hours, they said, okay, we're going to monitor, and you're going to get a reward for each hour that you sleep. And the reward is Livelo points. So they get Livelo points by literally sleeping. So now you can see they get points for essentially everything, including sleeping, right? So that's actually in the pilot phase, and it's very good because they get is a way to provide incentives for a certain behavior that ultimately is beneficial for the whole ecosystem, for the individual, for all the people driving, for the whole society. So it's actually using Livelo points to incentive behavior in a way that's not related directly to a transactional, to a commercial transaction, right? But shows the powerful, the powerful, or the power, I'm sorry, that we have to actually, incentive behavior much beyond what we have been seeing so far. So we're very proud of that particular partnership with Volkswagen. Is in the pilot phase, but I need to tell you, we're very proud because this project was submitted to Cannes, and we were awarded 2 bronze lions with that idea. So talking about innovation, talking about different uses, talking about partnering with people, with companies that are doing nice things, interesting things, innovative things. That's how the thing started. We actually were invited by Volkswagen and by our agency, LMAP, was the agency that make the bridge between us. We jumped into innovation that we thought, that's cool. That's really, that really relates and is aligned to our purpose, what we do. Let's go for it. And that's the preliminary results. So again, having an eye open, open mind to innovation brings a lot of possibilities, right?
Oh my God, it really does, Daniel. And jokingly, I was kind of thinking, I wonder, can I pretend to be a truck driver and just get points for sleeping? I mean, that's just a brilliant idea. And I do have a question on that. But before I do, I mean, if anybody listening is not aware of the Lions Awards that take place in Cannes every year, it is literally the Oscars of marketing. It is an extraordinary event. It takes place in the south of France a week after the Cannes Film Festival. So it is full of glamour. The biggest agencies in the world go there. The biggest personalities, industries and ideas go there. And for me, it's absolutely on my, it's on a vision board, honestly, Daniel, that I want to win somehow by some association a Cannes Lions Award. So congratulations. That's an extraordinary achievement. Well done.
Thank you so much. And just for you to have an idea, I mean, we are very proud. As you just said, it's the Oscar. I mean, there's no other way to say it. So it's aspirational in this aspect, and it's interesting that in addition to a great idea, you are looking for great results, right? And results, right? Impactful ideas. No? And this particular one, it's in a pilot phase, but we are in right now, and there's no problem from you saying that. We are in conversations with entities that monitor road safety because they were so interested in that. They want to. They were so keen on that they want to find a way to make that available not to only Volkswagen trucks drivers, but also to all drivers that somehow can participate on that and provide a larger benefits to the whole society. So this is really rewarding. This is really the feeling of accomplishment in this particular case of providing benefit to society. It's really, really good.
Yeah. Well, it's funny, Daniel, and I'm sure you've looked at it already, but just in case either you or our audience are not aware of it, when I'm asked about my favorite loyalty program, I always talk about a South African company called Discovery, and they have a number of different programs. The most famous is called Vitality, and that's about driving personal behavior, healthy behavior, fitness, etc. And that's been running for 25 odd years. It's unbelievably successful, a subscription-based program. But they also have a program as now a bank, which I think is about 3 or 4 years old, which also measures and monitors, good financial health and behaving in ways that are, again, living within your means, for example. But they also, I believe, have a driving program. So if you haven't checked it out already, again, with the partners that you're talking to, there are, again, it's in everybody's interests for the roads to be a safer place. And if we as a loyalty, profession can guide that behavior, as you said, in a non-transactional way, Daniel. Why wouldn't we? So we'll make sure to link to that in our show notes in case anybody wants to check it out. But brilliant to hear that. And one question that sprung to mind, Daniel, it's incredible, of course, that Volkswagen are funding this. It sounds like a CSR initiative, as in, essentially, for the greater good rather than no commercial agenda. Is it fair to say that they are doing this for, good PR, to be a good corporate citizen? Is that their kind of motivation, would you say?
I would say so. I'm going to talk a little bit about what I've heard. That's something that certainly they would be able to talk about this. But the thing is, by what we discussed, yes, I mean, of course, there is a deliberate goal of providing benefit to a community in which they are inserted, very deep in. I mean, so of course, I mean, when they exercise that, they are funding that, they are exercising responsibility, and also promote an image of Volkswagen caring about, truck drivers. So of course, that will resonate as well in terms of positive attributes to the brand that will ultimately also drive, benefits, financial benefits on that. I believe so, right? But everything's connected. I would say that social responsibility is not something that you do in the extra hours, right? Not something that you do detached to your business. So they are doing something that is very attached to the business, while also, in other words, by consequence, providing benefits to the business ultimately. Not necessarily something that you see on the very next day, but something they will collect, afterwards, if you are consistent to doing so. So yes, I believe it's corporate social responsibility, very, very, very linked to their strategy and what they do. It's not a philanthropy, that is detached, something that's done aside. So yes, I would say so. And for us, that resonated with the same feeling or purpose as well.
Yeah, absolutely brilliant. So from the partnership with Volkswagen, the Cannes Lions Award, even at the pilot stage, I know the other brand you mentioned to me that you've been working with is Amazon in Brazil.
Yes.
So please tell our audience, what are you doing with Amazon?
Sure. So we have been expanding our ecosystem, right? So, and just to give you some numbers, and then I'm going to talk about Amazon specifically. We have been observing a very big growth in number of customers that redeem services and goods on a monthly basis on our base, right? We have been growing in a comparison year over year in about 60 to 70%. So it's about 60 or 70% more customers redeeming goods or services year over year in our ecosystem. So this is because we expand our ecosystems, and this is growing as you can see by the numbers. I mean, this grows much faster than the growth of the base itself, which means we're being able to somehow make our bases more active month by month, and that's essential for when you are a loyalty company, right? Talking about KPIs, talking about growth. So we are being expanding our ecosystem, and it's about partnerships. It's about cooperation plus competition, right? It's co-petition, right? And but Amazon is a great partner for us for both, accumulating points and redeeming points. And what was something that was really important for us was we made a partnership with Amazon that initially our clients would be able to get points by purchasing with Amazon via Livelo. So it would be a relevant channel for Amazon. And then the second step, we inaugurated the shop with points possibility with Amazon in Brazil, right? So they have that in other countries, in other places in the world. But right now, when you go to Amazon, one of the possibilities in the checkout is pay with Livelo points. So Livelo points are immediately converted to money, and you can make can pay 100%, or you can partially pay your purchase with Livelo points. So that was very big. I mean, the acceptance was really, really big. Grew quite a lot in the first months that it was launched, and it's actually right now, if you consider the the number of possibilities that we have similar to that one, which actually converts Livelo to money. There are some others. We're talking about more than 1 million transactions, in the first month. So it's actually something that has been resonated quite a lot with our audience.
That's unbelievable. My God, 1 million transactions in a month. That's
really
unbelievable.
Good. That's really good if you consider the whole, yes.
Yeah. Yeah. What was just striking me, Daniel, as you were talking about that is, when I think about the origins of loyalty, particularly, I suppose, where I came from in the travel space, it was always like that the ultimate, goal of every member was always connected to like an airline, free flight or an upgrade. Like, it really had such solid beginnings in the travel space. What you've done is take it into a whole other realm of everyday relevance where, absolutely, I'm sure I can, avail of travel benefits if I save and if I want to have that kind of behavior. But particularly with younger demographics, I think we all know it's all about instant gratification. Mm-hmm. And with the cost of living crisis in so many countries, I'm sure Brazil is no different. If you can make the currency really, really liquid and usable, then of course that virtuous circle, as you described it like a wheel, I think that's a great term for it. I mean, it's just like that win-win-win that for me certainly was the reason I fell in love with loyalty in the first place.
No, you definitely nailed it. I mean, the thing is, when you talk about traveling, which is something that, everybody or the majority of people wants to travel, want to, use aspirationally, the points to traveling. Actually, it is the very origin of the loyalty programs. But many people, are not able to do it because you're not able to accumulate points in a way that will allow them to travel. Mm. But not only that, I mean, some people say, okay, I want to travel, but I also want to, use my points in other possibilities. And what we try to do is exactly to make sure that we have possibilities for everybody, regardless of the amount of spend and therefore the amount of accumulation that they have, but also what they really prefer to do. So we have been diversifying our program so that, yes, we have been growing in travel, but we have been growing faster in, let's say, non-travel possibilities, both in terms of the usage of points and also in terms of the number of people that are using points in our ecosystem. And what happens is that you were very right. I mean, Amazon, for example, that allows a partial payment, right? So you can pay like 5% of your purchase with points, and also Pix that we just talked about, which you can pay something as simple, as a newspaper on the or a book, or as we said, an espresso, right? You can use points for everything, and also other possibilities we have. I'm going to talk about this one in a minute. Allow people to use on a daily basis, regardless of their ability to accumulate. So that, creates engagement. That creates people say, okay, some people could say, no, loyalty program is not for me because, I'll not be able to accumulate, I'm not going to travel because even if I can pay for a certain air ticket, there are hotel expenses, the things that, not for me. And they can say, whoa, listen, this may be for me. And actually, we have been observing a lot of people that were not in the ecosystem do their first redemption because of those new efforts. Though the new offerings that we created are responsible for something between 40 to 60% of the new or the first redemptions that we have in our program. People that are using points today in the first usage. So we are bringing new people to the ecosystem, bringing a new profile to the ecosystem, which actually provoke as well ourselves to reinvent ourselves. Okay, listen, we are used to a certain profile, we're having a new one. So let's get to know better this new profile that we already do. So it's, again, a push towards innovation, as we said. And another thing that I'd like to mention to you is again, talking about the ecosystem, right? We made a partnership with another loyalty coalition program called Stix. Stix is just to make a confusion with names, but Stix is another program that belongs to one of the largest, drugstore chains in Brazil, and one of the largest supermarket chains or grocery retail chains in Brazil. So it's a program that people can accumulate points and use points in those two partners, but also in some others that they have created within the coalition program. We made a partnership with them so that Livelo points can become sticks, name of the company, points in the point of sale. Again, to use it as a partial payment. So you have, a certain purchase, you can partially pay it with Livelo points, right? So again, going offline, as we did with Pix, with another partnering company to do a partial payment. So this is another component that I just mentioned to you of the new offerings that allow us to grow in terms of transactions and to bring new people to the ecosystem. And loyalty coalition is all about network effects, right? When you have another component of the ecosystem, the value for the whole ecosystem increases, right? So that's what we're doing, and it allows us to improve our engagement, our behavior driving ability, and therefore being more relevant to the B2B partners. So you can have more B2B partners. We have just brought some of the largest financial institutions recently, in addition to our shareholders, to the ecosystem. And by the way, companies that would be a little bit not enthusiastic, let me put this way, about loyalty programs. And we have about 30 financial institutions right now in our ecosystem, providing Livelo points to their customers, either directly or having their own loyalty programs, but allowing the transference from one program to another. So it's about expanding the ecosystem, creating solutions that will be able to benefit clients of different profiles with different solutions. So that's why we have been able to experience that kind of growth.
Incredible, yeah. And you said to me, I know the last time we spoke, Daniel, that there was much more growth in those, I suppose, fintechs, as you've said, and using loyalty points beyond credit cards for other parts of the banking relationship, which, again, I've heard with other conversations we're having. And I think that's extremely important. So, if somebody does have, their bank account with you, I know it's something that it's an interesting sector because people are, almost loyal by default, because they don't want the hassle of changing a bank ever. But again, they are behaving in a way that is good for that business. So why would we not recognize and reward it? So
absolutely,
it sounds like there's so much going on all fronts, Daniel.
Yeah, there is a lot going on.
Amazing.
A lot going on, both in the B2B and the B2C, aspects of our business. Yeah, lots of things going on. We've been busy.
Yeah. It totally. And we are running out of time, Daniel, and so I will have to wrap up. But and I will ask if there is anything I've missed. But one minor question, perhaps, I never asked you before, but does Livelo actually translate? I don't unfortunately speak Portuguese, but as a word, does Livelo mean something, or is it literally a brand name that just is a brand name? I should have asked you that before, but I do like words. So does it translate into anything as a meaning? Or is it a brand name?
No, it's a brand name. It's a brand name.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Sorry, I do always kind of think, actually, I really need to make sure I understand that. So listen, that's all I have for you today, Daniel. Is there anything else you wanted to mention for our audience before we wrap up?
No, I think that what I could just mention is that it's interesting to observe, Paula, the attention that loyalty is having in all different sectors. We have been talking to many companies that come to talk to us to say, listen, I want to jump in. I mean, I don't know exactly how to do it, but I see the benefits of a loyalty program. I don't know exactly how to, engage. Should I have my own? Should I, participate in one pre-existing program? But I think that I need to do something. So I think that the many companies, I'm talking about retailers, I'm talking about industries, manufacturers, I'm talking about financial institutions, definitely seems to be a perception that loyalty is something that, when properly managed, brings benefit on the bottom line. So I think that this allows us to, at one hand, see lots of innovation, lots of good things going on, to see our segment grow, but to have more challenges ahead because there's more people jumping, right? Competition gets more intense, which is, I would say, beneficial at the end of the day for the whole segment. So this, I'm sure, Paula, there will be a lot of news, a lot of content for us to talk about, for us to observe, and as the segment expands. So I'm actually optimistic about the segments. I'm optimistic about technology, personalization. I'm talking about Starbucks. Personalization is something that we believe to be a pillar, a fundamental stone of everything that we want to do in the future. We're talking about engagement. How can you talk about engagement without talking about personalization? It's impossible, right? You need to be relevant to the individual. That's personalization.
Yeah.
So, but for being effective in personalization, you need lots of data. To treat lots of data, you need to use tools such as AI. So I believe that in terms of interest, in terms of technology, you're going to see a lot of things going on in our segment that you provide innovation, that you provide efficiency, and you provide benefits for society, both individuals and companies. So again, I'm optimistic. Lots of things going on. Lots of subjects to talk about in future programs.
Indeed, and I hope it's not 3 years, Daniel, before we have you back on the show. So I just want to say thank you for all of those incredible insights you've shared today. Congratulations again on the Cannes Lions Awards. That's absolutely brilliant news. And I just want to say, Daniel Pagano, Chief Marketing and Operations Officer, thank you so much from Let's Talk Loyalty and Loyalty TV.
Thank you so much, Paul. A pleasure to be here.